Well, hello. This is Dr. Alan Widener from Massage Chair Relief, and we welcome you to our, I'd like to say monthly, but it doesn't always work out monthly, but this is our Massage Chair Relief live broadcast, and we have our guests today, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves and their titles now, but we welcome the Human Touch crew to talk about the Super Novo X today. But go ahead and introduce yourselves to the visiting audience.
Hi, my name is Cathy Lou. I am the online sales manager for Human Touch, and I help Dr. Weiner with all his accounts and his stores and helping him get all his floor models set up and any kind of needs that him and his team need. So again, my name's Cathy.
Hi, I'm Dale Shepard. I'm Vice President of Consumer Division here at Human Touch here in Long Beach.
Dale, we're going to need you to speak louder because I can hardly hear that.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's strange.
Maybe it's because you're a mile away from the microphone.
I'm the same distance as Cathy.
Yeah, we're the same, unless it's taking.
Kathy, share your mic for heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
Jeez, you mic hog. Sorry, Dale. Go ahead and say your title again.
Dale Shepard. I'm Vice President of the Consumer Division at Human Touch, and I'm based here in Long Beach, which is where we are today.
Great, thanks.
Hey, Dr. Widener. Thanks for having us. My name is Eric Beatty. I manage our special events, and happy to be here today to discuss this wonderful product.
Well,
Thanks.
yes, and I'm glad to have you guys. And of course, all three of you were on a call about a year ago when we first, right in the dawn of our broadcast live format. And so I appreciate you all coming back. Dale, you being here today is a surprise. It's a pleasant surprise. Good to have you here again. And I think, Eric, you were kind of the odd man out last time. We had so many people on the screen. I think you were kind of, we just heard your voice, I think. So at least for the majority of it, but I welcome you all here today. It's good to have you here. And thanks for making time. I know you're all busy. And Eric, where are you based out of? You're not based out of Southern California, are you?
No, sir. I'm in Atlanta, just right outside of Atlanta, in a small town called Canton, Georgia.
Well, good to have you all here. And the miracle of electronics and technology allows us to do this kind of stuff. And I think it's great. Well, anyways, we are gathered here to discuss the Super Novo X. Now, I'm somewhat familiar with it. We have it in our showrooms, and my managers are familiar with it, those who have that in their showrooms. But I would like you guys to maybe talk a little bit about, well, a lot about the Super Novo X. And there's a couple of things I have in my mind. One is maybe talk a little bit about the genesis of the model. Like I know the Super Novo 2.0 or the Super Novo, just the regular Super Novo was around for quite a while. And then the 2.0 came and then the X came. And I'd like, maybe Dale, you could speak to that a little bit about the genesis of that new model. And then I'd like you to talk about, the rest of you, talk about the features of this chair. There are a lot of great features about this chair, but maybe particularly those things that differentiate the chair from other chairs. So with that intro, go ahead, Dale.
Well, thank you. I'm going to talk a little bit about the differentiation only because the genesis for this chair came many years ago when we first brought out the Human Touch Novo chair, which you probably remember from several years ago. And the idea about how to improve, of course, immediately starts once you get the finished product. And so we've had some iterations since the Novo. We've had several. But in the meantime, we were always working in the background on something that ended up becoming the Super Novo X. And one of the key takeaways as far as a differentiator with this chair is the teardrop doors, the doors that rise up. And that really is a tremendous feature for getting in and out of the chair, but it's also a very elegant solution to what has been a challenge for some people because of the foot and calf being, protrudes a little bit, so it's a little bit more difficult to get over. It's always been that case. Eric wanted me to touch on how that came about. Our late R&D master, Hans Deli, came to me one day in this office down the hall and said, come here, I'm going to show you something. And so I went out in the warehouse into the R&D area lab, and he had taken a Novo chair and has taken apart bit by bit, which he tended to do sometimes here, sometimes at home, and had created this Frankenstein chair with a door that was removed. And that was probably, and I'm going to say that's pretty close to 6.5 years ago when that happened.
Wow.
So it's been a long time coming to apply that, what became that technology, to a working product. And I will tell you that the process from idea to actually starting to implement it was a couple of years. And then, of course, to get it to market, that was a good 3 years. So
How many years?
What's that?
How many years to get to market?
From the actual, when the design actually started, not from what I just told you about Hans, but when the design actually started, it was a good 3 years to get that product to actually work. And so it was probably 5 years from the gestation. That was probably the period of time, the 5 years. But 3 years to get through this and to actually say, okay, we're ready to roll. So there's a lot of time and energy invested in this product. And that's just a small portion of it, but it's a very dramatic portion of it, as you've seen.
Well, I know when they build a chair, or when I say they, I mean a company has a chair built for them. There's a lot of back and forth that goes on, between what you're looking for, what you want, and what the factory can do to meet your needs. And what in the development of this chair, which does have some unique features, what was the greatest challenge? Was there a particular feature that was like the door, the teardrop door? We've never seen anything like that before. Was that the most challenging feature of this new chair?
Yeah, I mean, it's fair to say that it was the most challenging. One of the things you have to remember about manufacturing a chair like this is that you have these great ideas, and then you go to the factory, and of course you work with the factory as you described, but the factory, not being based in the United States, has certain ways that they want to do things, and they don't always take into account what needs to be done for the U.S. market. And so that back and forth can take a considerable amount of time. And this is a good case in point to get that chair to be the way we want it to be for the U.S. market. And it is a challenge on all levels, whether it's from a legal side or from a practical side. There are a lot of challenges to get those doors to do what we want them to do. So yeah, I would say that's the most challenging. The second thing that's challenging and is actually unique to this chair is our own app. So you can control the chair completely with the app, and that app design, what goes into the app design on a chair is pretty amazing. And that's why you don't have people doing this. We'd spent a great deal of time on developing apps for our products, and we'll continue to do that, as a matter of fact, because that seems to be what people want. And so we will keep driving that.
Well, the app thing is interesting. On my website, we have a comparison chart that people can look at to compare chairs. And when I enter in all that data for each chair, very, very few, if any, other than than Human Touch has an app, either Android or
iOS.
iOS. There we go.
Yeah.
So it's a rarity to see that, and I don't know if that's because companies don't want to put the time in to develop it, or because it's difficult and they don't. It's too much of a hurdle to overcome to introduce a new chair with that.
Well, those are two of them. The third one is, of course, cost. So with the amount of time you put into it, there's a cost, and so it really is probably the second biggest challenge for this chair is getting that app to be the way we want it. It's elegant, and I would say too, if you have a chart that had chairs that did have apps, that would be great. It would be checking a box. However, if you were to compare each individual app to our app, I would, I'm being completely subjective here, but I would argue that our app is much more sophisticated, much more elegant than what else you see on the market for the future that do offer it.
Absolutely. I see our marketing team work constantly on that app, testing it here in our showroom, making sure that it's working correctly for everything. So it's a lot of work.
Well, honestly, again, I off the top of my head, I can maybe think of one or two other chairs out of the almost 60 that we carry that have an app, and there have been some of them are a little problematic. The connectivity issues, making sure it functions the way you want it to function. So I think a well-developed app is rare, and then of course if it does work as well as it's intended to work, I could see why people want to have more of that. And but yeah, it's something that's I expected to be a little bit more prominent in terms of mass development with all the different brands out there, but it's not. So that seems to be a leg up that you have in the app. Now, Eric, maybe you want to go into, and Kathy too, or all of you, maybe talk about other features that the chair has that makes it unique. Now, Eric, you work with people all day long. Like it's not, you're not at the the Long Beach headquarters and it's just you and all your cronies talking about the chair. You're actually getting subjective and objective feedback from all kinds of people.
Yeah.
And I would be interested to hear your experience with it, but maybe speak to the differences, more of the differentiation.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks, Doctor. Yeah, I mean, there's like Dale said. I mean, app is a big one. I mean, that's a proprietary app, Human Touch app. Other brands that have apps are just kind of like a generic factory app, which we used to have as well. But this is something that we upped our game in, like you said, and put a lot of emphasis into it and a lot of time and money. Some of the biggest differentiators that we see and hear from when we're out there in the field talking to other, customers that have experienced other products is, not only the unique teardrop doors, or we say Lambo doors, or, however you want to say it, it's kind of cool, but, is you can actually customize those panels. And there's 54 different color combinations you can do with the chair, which I think is very cool and unique. You could also perhaps change the colors and make a lot more combinations if you had two different colors on the side panels on the outside. But as far as the chair functionality goes, I would say one of the big differentiators is the stretch feature, which is just absolutely out of this world. When we, being at CES in particular, everybody would try our different competitors, and everybody would come back and they'd say, "Man, I tell you what, that stretch is hands down the best stretch." And it's just because it's unique the way it stretches you, and it really holds you down. Our programs are designed to really hold down the stretch, kind of hold it there for about a 40-second increment.
Oh, really?
So you'll hear a lot of people say, "Man, I just got an adjustment in my back," So to me, anybody that's suffering from lower back pain, or it's this chair is the one for you. Also, I did send you a couple videos, a couple pictures of the height. That is another big deal that separates us from the others. Is our chairs will accommodate folks that are 6'9", 6'8", 350 pounds. As I sent to you, Doc. That's a big one.
Let me see if I can bring that up. We were playing with that before because I have. It's been rare that I've ever shared anything. So let me see if we can bring this up here. I just didn't know how to do it.
Oh, sure.
Here's this video. If you listen, is that just the image?
Yeah. So that is Lorenz Metz. He played for the Buccaneers, offensive lineman. He's 6'9", 340 pounds. And he's sitting in the Super Novo X and just basking in his glory, loving it.
The first thing I looked at when I saw that picture was his knees. Are his knees way up high or are they down low? And it looked like that chair actually fits him.
It actually fit him. He was a little apprehensive, and as I was too, to be quite frank, because he's huge. He got in that bad boy, and he sat in there for a good probably 45 minutes and just,
wow.
And he's,
Let me see if I can bring up the video that you sent also. Again, this is all new to me. Let's see if we can get the video file. Okay, here's the video of hopefully the volume's out loud enough.
How tall are you again, boss?
6'9".
6'9". There you go. You heard it right there.
340 pounds.
340, 6'9". Look at them, dude. Look at them size 5s. I mean,
right here.
They were size 20 actually, but facetious.
Well, I have to say, just a minute. Let me get rid of the. Okay, there we go. I have to say that chair, it's an open-toed chair, and it has to be if you're going to accommodate people that are that tall. I mean, size 20. The closed toe chairs can handle up to size 13, and even that's snug.
I can't do the closed toe. But I have a size 13, and the closed toe boots on the chairs, they don't fit me. I can't even get my foot in there. But
Yeah.
so to your point, I mean that's a good point, Doc.
Well, what good would it do if you had a chair that could handle someone who's 6'10", but they can't put their foot in the bloody footrest? That's counterintuitive. So obviously everything was thought through. But you've always had open toe. The Novo family have always been open toe because it's always been a chair designed for taller people. So and there's not many chairs that can handle someone who's 6'10". I can count on two fingers chairs that say they can handle up to 6'9" or 6'10". And this is one of them. And so being tall is one thing, but it also has the girth to handle a bigger person.
Yes.
I mean, you could get Manute Bol in a chair, if you remember who Manute Bol was, but that guy would be swallowed up by the width of the Super Novo.
Yeah,
so it can handle big and tall, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what else what else you want to talk about on the chair?
I mean, it's obviously the stretching, just the fact that. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I'm glad you brought the stretch up again. One thing that you guys have with the stretch that I remember in the other chairs was you give the user the alternative to drop the legs in the stretch or extend the feet out in the stretch. And I see that the X has that as well.
Yes, that is correct. So again, that the stretch out really, really works if someone has kind of shorter legs a little bit. Like for me, I'm 6'4", but I'm all legs. I have a long, my legs are really long. So the stretch out for me is not as, I mean, it feels great, but it's not going to be as beneficial maybe to someone with a little bit shorter legs, I would say. So the stretch down portion for me is where it's at. It's absolutely incredible. I mean,
do you think that feature was introduced because of the disparity in heights of people, or was it just kind of hey, why don't we have a stretch out and a stretch down, or was it with the length of legs in mind?
A little bit of both. I mean, definitely it's because it still feels good even when it pulls outward to me. It just doesn't pull as extensive as it would if my legs were a little bit shorter, Doc. Because it still feels great, the outward. I mean, it's not that it doesn't feel good. It's just, if someone's a little shorter legs, it's going to pull a little bit, it's going to pull their feet and ankle a little bit more outward.
For me, it definitely pulls.
Yeah, I would say that to answer your question, Dr. White, I don't think that was a conscious effort to do that for different size people, but it was to provide two different types of massage. I mean, you would know more than I do, but that's a completely different feeling when you have the pull out rather than pull down. So the pull down would be more of a lower back treatment, and the pull out's not quite the same, right? I mean,
that's a good point, Dale, because I will say that if you have a low back that we would call hyperlordosis or too much back curve, when you drop legs down, it can feel a little irritated. Yeah. And so I can see how the pulling out of the ottoman would serve someone who has a little bit more back pain because of that excessive curve. But if they have a regular curve or a flatter curve, the drop down's fine. It's fine. But that may be something also that, and again, some of the stuff, it's not stuff you think about. It's just you created it, and hey, you know what? This feature actually accommodates this person this way and this person that way. But anyways, but I like the stretch feature. Now, you were saying, Eric, that it tends to hold you down for, I think you said for 40 seconds.
40 seconds.
That's pretty long, isn't it?
It is. It's the longest I've seen. It's the longest of any other chair that I've ever experienced or I've seen. And again, that's what makes it. That's a big deal, as you know, Doctor. The stretch feature is a very big deal for a lot of people, and it is something that really stands out in that X. It's a really, really great feature. So,
and that's something also that was done in response to previous models and feedback from customers.
Yes,
the
100%.
And so that's something that we talk about.
Now, okay, so carrying on, could you maybe talk a little bit about the roller mechanism? I can't remember what you call it, orbital. I can't remember the name, but can you talk a little bit about the roller mechanism and maybe how that is different? Is that different from the past? I mean, I know you've got the split track or the flex track, but and so that's of course different. But in terms of the actual the motions of the rollers, is that different? Anyone?
Here you go.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, it's you talking about the dual sync. Oh yeah, that's our dual sync track.
Yeah.
You got 4 rollers on the top. They're 3D, and then 2 on the bottom that are 2D. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely obviously it's unique, like you said, in it being a dual track mechanism. But that's another thing that gives that stretch, Doctor, because that lower track, the with the 2 rollers on it, it's really protruding up as it's pulling you down, as it's stretching. And that was something, to Dale's point, that we listened to feedback from our customers. Is that was, the other chairs that wasn't protruding up in your lower back as it was pulling you down.
Yeah.
The X actually does that. So it almost lifts you up as it's pulling you down. And that's why you're getting that more rigorous, deeper stretch. And then it's holding you in place, which is really just giving you that, maximizing that stretch.
Can you adjust the intensity of that stretch if it's a little bit much for someone?
I mean, you can adjust the rollers down to the lowest level, but that's pretty much what you would do. And then you could use the bib, like the pillow, the head pillow. You could put that down there in the lower lumbar. If someone was a little bit more tender or a little sore, you can always do that as well to kind of buffer it.
Yeah, that's a yes. Well,
Are you asking about the angle of the stretch?
What about it, Kathy?
Were you asking about the angle of the stretch?
Well, no, I was kind of interested in the mechanics of the roller mechanism.
Or just the roller?
Is the roller mechanism the same as it was before? Like those 4 rollers on the top? By the way, this is the first time I realized that the lower roller, the lower roller mech only has 2 rollers. I didn't know that. But the upper 4, is that the same configuration or same technology as the quad roller in the Super Novo and the Super Novo 2.0? Or has that been changed too?
It's the same one, I believe, right, Dale? I mean, it's the same mechanism, right?
Yeah.
And I was just
flex track. Has a flex. Yeah, it's a flex.
Yeah. Well, here we go. I knew I had this here. I have the sheet that talks about the features of the chair and how it compares to the other chairs. But maybe talk a little bit about it, if you don't mind. And if I've interrupted you talking about any of the other differentiators, not that there's not enough already. I mean, there's 6 things here that I've written down. But talk a little bit about the horizontal rest.
Yeah. So that takes you beyond zero gravity. So it lays, in other words, it lays flat. And again, that goes back to that stretch feature, how the chair goes beyond that zero gravity and it lays really flat. So again, it's able to give you that really deep stretch because of that.
Yeah, it's a nice. Yeah, it's nice to have, and that was the great knock on the L tracks for me was that you never got a really good stretch like the old S track chairs, and this split track has facilitated that. But I'll tell you, not all the split track chairs have a great stretch. And so if you can get that chair horizontal with that horizon rest, boy, oh boy, you're going to get a far better stretch on the body stretch than you would if you're strictly in an L track or even another split track that doesn't have the full 180 recline.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Now, we've got someone here that, let me say here, someone I don't know if there's a question or a comment, says on a Super Novo X in manual mode and in kneading massage type, is there a possibility to add in a setting that needs 3 minutes in increments instead of manually changing the zones?
No.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if I fully understand the question. On a Super Novo
Sounds
X,
like they want. Sounds like they want certain. They want certain techniques with by the minutes, and that's not capable. That's not possible.
Yeah, like
that's what it sounds like, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, it sounds like it. I could read it two ways. Either can you have it do 3 minutes of kneading and then 3 minutes of something else, or can you? And then he's asking.
Well, you can. He's go to the remote and change it every 3 minutes.
Yeah, I guess you could do that. But
he
also said increments instead of manually changing the zones. So maybe. I don't know. I'm not exactly clear. Anyways, Santosh, if you could maybe clarify that question a little bit, I would appreciate that. And I'm sorry if I'm misunderstanding. I'm pretty thick here. There's not a lot up there sometimes, and I'm not exactly sure what all the questions are. But anyways, please clarify if you can a little bit more on that. Okay, so of course we all know that the Bluetooth and the speakers are like. That what people would consider, bells and whistles. But, here, Santos just added, from the top to bottom knead in 3 minutes down to the bottom to the buttocks. So it's from the top to bottom knead in 3 minutes down to the bottom to the buttocks. Yeah.
Is there a particular reason why he wants to do 3 minutes? Is that like a...
Yeah, good question. I don't know. I don't know, but that's a good question. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't, yeah, I'm not to answer that one. I mean, there's that, yeah, is that capable? No, but yeah, I'm not sure if there's a particular reason why you want to do 3 minutes. I suppose you could wait until the timer's at 3 minutes and put it on that mode. I mean, that'd be the solution.
What's interesting is that everybody wishes that every chair could do something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it goes without saying that not every chair could do everything, and half the stuff that people want isn't even created yet, or the technology isn't even at that place yet. So, and maybe this is something that. First of all, I don't know if we fully understand the question, but if it's even something that can be done with the way that with the programming of the chair. But I don't know.
That's the story of our lives. We hear these questions and they're like, okay, we make the notes, and then can we incorporate it down the line? And that's
Well, Santosh, what I would maybe suggest doing is give me a call after the sometime after this, and then we can discuss it over the phone. Then once I understand it a little bit better, then I can bring it over to Dale or Eric or Kathy. And then we can maybe answer that question for you. I feel bad that we're not answering it very well, but I'm sorry about that. I'm going to put my cell number here, which is probably not recommended by security experts, but there's my phone number. Give me a call when either later today or tomorrow. I'm usually pretty accessible. That's my cell number, so leave a voicemail if I don't pick up. But thank you for asking. I appreciate the participation. Now, I was mentioning about the Bluetooth system. Like Bluetooth is typically considered more of a like a bell and whistle thing. But you guys go all out. I mean, I thought the Altec Lansing speakers were awesome, but now you've even upgraded it more. What was the reasoning behind going with a sound system that sophisticated?
I think it goes all back to what we talked about originally. It's differentiation from our competitors, right? And since the relationship with JBL was developed, they were very excited about trying to do something specifically for that environment, that small space, and they did. And so that relationship continues, and it's been I appreciate the kind words about it, but it's been a real nice differentiator for us. And on top of that, we do have the Sound Soothe nature sounds that are embedded in the chair. So certainly you can use your Bluetooth to do whatever you want to do from your devices. But that Sound Soothe built in there it has been an improvement, I must say, over Altec Lansing, and it's more enveloping, and it makes for a really, really nice escape.
Yeah, and I will just add my personal commentary on that. That the sound suite that you have and the different nature sounds and whatnot, it is beautiful. It's very, very soothing, because you can't hear what everybody's talking about because the speakers are close to here, and when you're hearing those sounds, someone may be yakking in the background. This could apply at home or at work, and you cannot. It kind of blocks out that, but it's
Yes.
very, very relaxing, and the sound is so good.
And what's great is you can't hear it when you're not in the chair either. I can't tell that someone has it on, so it's not affect, it doesn't affect anyone outside of the chair either.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know, and those sounds, just one more thing on those, they're
Yeah.
not manufactured. They're actually recordings of nature. So these are the real deal. They're
Real
not some
sound.
AI generated fake
Right.
sound. This is for real. So
That is neat.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes,
another, I
Go
was going
ahead,
to say
Eric.
another point to that is back to our app. We actually have a partnership with BrainTap, Dr. Widener, and we actually have BrainTap programs built into the app. They're meditative, guided, guided meditation basically, and that is something that's very unique as well and very cool, quite frankly. So again, that back to that Human Touch proprietary app, that's again a game changer. And also has memory settings built into the app, so you can set up profiles for, you can set up profiles two per an app. Husband and wife, you put in your height, your name, what your preferences are, and so it does have memory settings as well. Back to, that app is actually very, very cool. The more when we talk about it, yep. So I would definitely encourage you to check that out.
Yeah, the memory function is to everybody. It sounds like such a great idea, but not many chairs have it.
No.
But I think generally speaking, people love the idea of the memory settings and being able to program create your own program.
I really do. And Doc, just sorry. I mean, I was just going to say real
Please.
quick on that. That works for Super Novo 1, Super Novo 2, Flex, and X, and Circa and Gravis. Just an FYI. So it does work for that suite of chairs. So if someone has a
The
Super
app
Novo
does.
1 and you're
Mhm.
listening,
Really?
you could use that Super Novo. You could use the Human Touch app with your Super Novo 1, first generation. Just
Really?
FYI. Yes, sir.
And the Gravis.
Yep.
And Gravis, yeah. And I
And
think you used that last time at CES, Dr. Widener, with the Gravis app. We were able you can have it in like a sleep mode and then have it wake you up in like half an hour or so. So
Yeah.
like it'll automatically turn on and kind of lift you back up to from zero gravity back to normal sitting position. So the apps are great. They do offer a little bit more to the chair, almost like in terms of things like that, like the sleeping app and being able to wake up or take a nap and wake me up in 45 minutes and it'll adjust the chair for you.
Wow. So there's a lot of versatility with the app that you can't get from the regular remote then.
Absolutely.
Now, the relaxing thing, that's becoming a much bigger deal. These apps that help you relax and calm
Yes.
I've seen count. Well, I downloaded one myself, and I use Calm and another one called Insight Timer to help me if I wake up in the middle of the night, I can't go back to sleep. Then I put on the app to listen to it. Do these apps, this Brain Tap, does this happen to work on your phone as well, or does it only through connecting with the chair?
It'll work on your phone. If you have the app downloaded, Dr. Widener, you sign up for it, you could play it through your phone. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. Well, you most certainly can. As long as you sign up for an account, you just go and sign up for the account, put your email in, your information in, and yeah, absolutely.
Use it. Mhm.
Okay, what else can you tell me about the chair, and or maybe the features that you like about the chair, and maybe talk a little bit about what others like, what kind of feedback you're getting when you're doing shows. I know, Cathy, you do shows too, and you're working with people. What is some of the most common comments made about the chair?
let me just jump in one more
Yeah.
thing on the meditation, since we were talking about that. So the X has 3 meditation programs built into it: sleep, concentration, and unwind. And so you can actually select those from the controller, from the app, And it goes to what you're talking about, is that it's a more of a relaxation type program. It incorporates sounds automatically. You don't have to select them. They automatically do it for you. But the sleep portion is a back stretch that helps to relax. So that's something to explore if you're looking for that type of that meditation process.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. There's a lot more to it than I realized. Yeah.
It really is. I mean, Doc, honestly, everybody comments how aesthetically good looking our chairs are in comparison. Yeah. We get a lot of comments about that. They love our color selections. Again, something else that we haven't really talked about is, the Super X does come in a couple leather options, and premium panel options as well. Again, something that's very unique. But yeah, we always hear your chairs are, look the best. They're pretty, in comparison. All massage chairs are ugly, but they look as best as they could be, being as they are a massage chair, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is something that we're proud of, and we take pride in, having different colors and
the customization. I think is a huge. Everyone loves playing around with being able to customize it.
Yeah, they really do. Because if you got tired of the colors, eventually down the road, you could buy different, pad sets or different panels, and you could change. Instead of having to get a whole new chair because you change, aesthetics in your house, you just buy new panels and change it. So
I remember the first time we talked about this. I think Dale and Kathy, we were at the furniture market talking about that, and you were saying how people were more excited about picking the colors than they cared more about picking the colors than they were about knowing exactly what the chair features were.
Yeah, I think because I still have that in my head about watching people do that process, and we've never had that experience before. So in massage chairs, they get excited about having the massage and what it can do for them. But then once they made the decision that the chair is going to be theirs, to watching that process of going through and which colors, and they enjoy it. Yeah. So
it's like buying a car, right?
Yeah, it really is.
You're picking out the interior, the exterior. It's a little bit same. You can pick out the pad set that you're sitting on there, and then also the door panels. So it's fun. It's definitely fun. And it can get a little ugly too if you pick the wrong ones, but most people don't. So it's great.
That's why people bring their spouses or their partners. In my case particularly.
A couple of things that Eric touched on with the leather, I think that's important to note. That so now we have 2 leather options on a massage chair, which we haven't had for years and no one else really does. So it's premium leather, and you can get it on your massage chair. So that's new. Going back to it's not brand new. We did it years ago, but we haven't done it for quite some time. So that's important. That's if it's important to you.
Yeah, and I might just put a plug in for you and for your chair right now. You have a deal until the end of March, anyways, I think, where you can upgrade from the standard synthetic leather to legitimate premium real leather.
No extra cost.
No extra cost. So that is until March 31st. But the chair is comfortable. Like the leather does feel good. The leather pads, I think we have that in our Utah showroom here. It just feels good to sit in it. It's very cushy. It's cushy and soft. I really enjoy it.
Oh, that's great to hear.
So this, when I remember the first time I sat on the chair was at CES 2 years ago. And I remember that the massage was way stronger than what I remembered about the Super Novo. And Victoria was doing the demo for me in a video. It's on our YouTube channel. But was it intended? Did you intend to make that chair a stronger chair? Because the Super Novo is always great, but if you really wanted to crank it up, it seemed like maybe it didn't have that capability for someone that really wanted a strong massage. But I get the impression that the Super Novo X can give you that if you want it.
Yeah. But, to answer your question, yes, the intention was to make it very strong. If you're going to sell a chair at that price point, you better make sure it is a significant massage.
Yeah.
So much so that since you tried it at that first CES, we added a pad to it that we did not originally include. So that that design has been changed a little bit so that the softening comes from the pad as well as from the mechanism. But you can certainly make the move from where you start now in level 1 and get it to a very, very significant massage on level 5. Then you can remove the pad. I mean, so you have a wide range that you're dealing with on this chair. I don't know if you have any more about that, Eric, but
yeah, Dale. I mean, to your point, I mean, just over the years, we listen, Dr. Weiner, and everybody. That's what one thing we would get feedback on was, I use my chair every day, and I've maxed out, and I would like it to be a little bit more rigorous, more stronger, right? And so that's something that we chose to do, and it's I think it pays off because then it's like you have somewhere to go. You don't have to replace your chair in a couple of years because you've gotten used to it.
Yeah.
So now it kind of starts off stronger, so you can kind of make that stretch out a little longer. For those that use it on a real daily basis, that's the people I'm speaking about. There are those who use it a few times a week, but then you got those that are using it every single day. Their body gets acclimated, faster to a chair that's maybe not as strong, whereas this one will give them that longevity. You build up to that and continue to enjoy it. So
yeah, it's way better to have a chair that's too strong than a chair that's just right, because the just right will be not strong enough within about a month.
Yes, sir.
So I couldn't agree more with you on that. Cathy, did you have a comment, or were you going to say something?
No, I don't remember. No.
Well, Cathy, are you sure you didn't want to say something?
Cathy's like, should I say something?
I can make something up. Okay. Now, when I sat on the chair, also, I remember the calf massage was way different than the old Super Novo. Like with you had the kneading airbags, but the rollers in the back, man, that was an intense calf massage. And but again, I'd rather have it too intense so that I can move up to that than having it too soft and never ever feeling anything. But I think we didn't talk about adjusting intensity or anything like that when I was testing out the chair. I was just sitting in it, but I remember thinking, if someone wants a strong calf massage, oh my gosh, this chair will definitely deliver that.
Yes, sir. And something else to that point, Doc, is I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe we're the only one on the market where you could actually adjust just the calf pressure. So on the quick keys on the side to the left, you can adjust just the calf portion of it, which again is a big deal because there has been instances, in the Super Novo 2, if you will, where it's too intense for somebody on the calf, and they're like, oh no, turn it off. It's just the calf, and you have to basically, well, you could go in and just turn off the calf, but you would have to turn it all the way off. This, you can actually lower the intensity of it, and they could still, feel it. As where, with the other, you'd have to turn off the whole foot and calf portion.
Yeah,
completely.
So let me make sure I understand. So what you're saying is you can adjust the calf airbags and the foot airbags are separate.
Yes. I mean, if you look, yes, sir. So if you go if you look at the left on the chair, you're sitting in it. There's quick keys right there on the side.
Yeah.
And it says leg, up or down, minus or plus or minus, and that is the compression on that foot and calf. So. Okay,
but you can crank up or crank down the airbags in the calf independent of the feet.
Correct.
Okay. Correct. Yeah. You don't see that much. Usually it's one intensity affects everything. Yeah, that's nice to know. But a lot of people look for strong calf and well, they don't even say foot. A lot of people are looking for calf massage, a good calf massage. And the Super Novo X is one of those chairs that we recommend for a strong calf massage.
Yes, sir. But and you could take it up another notch too, as you know, Doc. As I think I've sent you the video, you could go in that back menu and increase the whole pressure of the whole chair. So again, as people get used to it, they have that option to be able to increase the pressure of the whole chair.
I forgot about that, Eric. As a matter of fact, I have used that. I've referred back to that video in our thread multiple times when we think that we can adjust the back office intensity of the airbag. That was a very, very, very helpful video.
That was 5 years ago, Doc.
I know. I can't believe it.
I just thought about that. Yeah, that was 5 years ago. I was at a convention in Orlando during the pandemic, and that was the first trade show back. Actually, I think they called it Coming Back Together, or something like that. It was some funny name like that. Coming Back Together. So anyway, but memories.
Yeah, memories. But I have actually used that app, or that not app, but those instructions. Those instructions even recently within the last 6-8 months when I was working at the store. So I appreciate that.
Yes,
Now
sir.
you guys, I believe all your, well, I can't say all of them, but all your Super Novo chairs are all made in the same factory, the Rotite factory, which is a very good factory. And I tell people that, like, and you may or may not be aware that I kind of focus on the difference between like cheap chairs and good and better, more expensive chairs. And you really do get what you pay for. And that Rotite factory is one of the top, from what I've heard and what I believe, is one of the top 3 to 5 factories in China that builds massage chairs. And I know that Human Touch has had a relationship with them for years. But have they? And of course, they've expanded and grown. I went to that factory, I think 7 years ago, 6-7 years ago, and it was a brand new factory, and half the factory wasn't even used. I understand they're using the whole bloody thing now. So it's obviously a sought after factory for building chairs, but you guys have had a good relationship with them for a lot of years.
Yeah, we have a great partnership with them, and they're very receptive to what we create, and they're shocked sometimes. I mean, the door's case in point on the Super Novo X, but that's part of the challenge, trying to get these ideas to come to fruition. So yes, we have a great partnership, and it continues. I think it's always important to note that when you talk about factories in China, you're talking about an area of the world that incorporates massage chairs into their daily routines much greater than we do here on this side of the planet. So that's where the majority of these products are sold, not just manufactured. And that's why they manufacture over there, because that's the market. We're not about prevention. We're about taking pills and doing all the other things afterwards, right? Yeah. And we just need to come to terms with that as a society. And I think we've all, especially you, Dr. Widener, have tried to educate people on what they should be doing to themselves before they do themselves in, not after. So it's been a growth business for us here, of course, over these last 45 years, and we're still just this much part of the U.S. market, right? It's just a very, very small market.
It's growing, but with growth comes it's not. Yeah. Anyways, and I don't want to belabor this. This is not the arena for that, but I feel like there's a lot of crap out there, and people are buying them because the marketing is slick and the price is cheap, and they say the things that they think people really care about. But being able to try these chairs out is very difficult. But you guys and all the major name brands, you guys put a lot of effort into. Well, I know you guys do, into developing your chairs. You were talking about Hans earlier. I remember meeting him, and he was like a mad scientist. In the back of your old shop back on, I think it was on Cherry. He was like. I was fascinated talking to him, and the guy that does the design. I can't remember his name. Who was that?
Potter.
David Potter.
Yes, David Potter. And these guys seem to have it was pretty interesting to hear how they talked about the developing of a new product and developing of and trying to get it built, their dream built by the factory. And I don't think I fully appreciated it back then, but a lot of companies just bring in a chair. They just bring in a chair that's already pre-made. But you guys have a lot of input into the way your chairs are built. Is that correct? Is it still that way too?
Well, it's absolutely still that way. And I think it's very important, particularly as these prices escalate over the course of time. It's important that you listen to your customer and try to incorporate some of their ideas. I mean, it's a different customer in Asia than it is here. And so, I mean, that picture of the football player, the NFL player in the chair is a case in point. We have bigger people. And so we just can't pick an off-the-shelf chair and bring it to the United States and hope for the best. You have to accommodate your market. And so I think we've done that really well over the years.
Yeah.
Nice that you mentioned David Potter. David Potter is a master when it comes to design. And he's been all over that, not just in terms of the the mechanical parts of
The
it, but the
colors.
aesthetics
Yeah, I was gonna
and
say.
what our society accepts. I mean, you see chairs in Asia that you would never see in somebody's home in the United States. Just
Yeah.
not going to happen. So, yes, it's all part of the brand too, right? We want to make sure that the experience you have in our product is something that will accentuate the brand and not degrade from it.
Elevates
So,
it.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think you guys do a great job of that. You put a lot into the image of the brand, and I think it's a very well received image. Everybody pretty much knows about Human Touch. You guys have been around longer than almost every other distributor in the U.S.
Yeah, over 45 years now.
Yep.
Yeah, 4 or 5. It's unbelievable to me. I mean, I started this business 20 years ago, and you guys were. I remember you guys were like the only game in town, other than maybe some Inada and some Panasonic chairs floating around. But you guys were really, I think, the only. As a matter of fact, my very first website was just Human Touch chairs, and I remember thinking, wow, I wonder if there's any other chairs out there. There really wasn't many others. But yeah, you guys have been around and kind of set a pace. I think your Super Novo X is just like right on par with, the latest, greatest stuff in the industry. I think it's a great chair. And it is an impressive chair. It really is. And a lot of people like it. Now, the price tag might be a little bit rich for some, but boy, everybody seems to really enjoy the chair. They're very comfortable sitting in it. It seems to fit a lot of different body types. We're very, very happy with that chair.
Most customizable chair on the market. That's what most customizable chair on the market. That's what I would say.
Yeah, that's a good like a good catchphrase, right? No, it really is. It's really the customizable chair. I mean, you've got the memory customization you can do with the chair. You've got the panels and the pads. It's
Colors,
colors, and the app gives you a lot of versatility that regular remote controls don't give you. So I think you guys have got a real winner here. This is a good chair. I thought, but the Super Novo is a real good chair. I mean, that was the top seller for us for years, and now we're hoping the X also catches on that way.
I think it will, Doc.
Yeah. Well, you keep going around the country there, Eric, and promote that chair. And I mean, I know when you guys go to Costco or whatever, people come back to us after they've left to find out if this is a good chair or not, or is she Human Touch legit or whatever. We get visitors almost every show. So you're spreading the good word, and we just back it up. Okay. Anything else? Oh, go ahead.
Just saying, appreciate the support, Dr. Wagner.
Yeah.
All these years. Thank you.
Well, you bet. I appreciate our relationship through the years. It's
Susie always asks about you, Dr. Widener. So
yeah, Susie was like our real
she's still
first.
here. So yeah.
Yeah, when we opened that first store in 2008, like I started as a website in 2005 with just Human Touch chairs. But 2008, we opened our first store, which was it was an old smoke shop. It was just this tiny little, we still have it. And Susie flew out with her daughter, and we had a grand opening and stuff. Susie came out, and it was just it was so cool that she cared enough, or that Human Touch cared enough to want to come out and be a part of that. So I have really fond memories of Human Touch. I'm grateful for the association. Even though when I first approached Human Touch about selling their chairs online, it was a cold welcome. It was so new, right? I mean, they were afraid of their chairs being
a lot of pushback.
Yeah, there was, and I get it now. I totally get it now. Back then, I'm like, come on, what's the deal? But you were trying to maintain the integrity of your brand, and and you still do that today. And so you're selective in who you do business with. And back then, you didn't know me from Adam, and you guys eventually gave me that chance, for which I'm professionally extremely grateful for. So thank you for helping me get my foot in the door. But
thank you, Dr. Widener.
Anyways, if there's anything else, Eric, Dale, or Kathy, anything else you want to throw in, or are you tapped out?
I just want to say I'm grateful for this opportunity to speak with you, Dr. Widener. We're grateful for all you do for the industry, for your expertise, for your know-how, and just your positivity. We're very grateful to be partners with you as well. And
we love working with you.
your team is great. So I just love working with all of them. So
Even if I text you a ticked off text,
that's fine.
I'd rather you text me.
Comes with the territory, you know. You got to. Everybody has a moment.
Yeah, I'd rather hear it from you than someone else.
Exactly.
well, you guys have been very receptive, and I appreciate that. And of course, we see things that maybe you don't see all the time. Because we carry multiple brands, there's some things that we see that we don't like, that some of the companies do or don't do, and times when and I'm very hesitant to try to say anything critical, but you just have to. But sometimes that has resulted in positive change, and so I'm grateful for that. And you guys are pretty open to everything. You're very open to your dealers, and I appreciate that. So, anyways,
Thank you.
well, it's been good having you guys here again. Thank you, and maybe in another year we'll talk about something else. And who knows if you have another chair up by then? I don't know. It seems a little early for another year, but I think like Dale had black hair 1 year ago. Dale had black hair. Dale's only 25.
He dyed his hair. He's trying to look a little more.
Why?
People thought he was too young, so he's trying to look a little bit older. You know, it's like, I'm gonna dye my
Why is
hair.
he mature?
Yeah.
Well, you guys are great. Thank you so much, and thanks for taking
again,
time
Dr.
today.
Widener.
And
Thank you so much.
we'll get this up, and if you guys need a copy of it, take it off of YouTube for whatever purposes you need it. Oh, just before we go though, just any other questions? There's the people that are on the call still. Are there any questions or comments? Now's the time to ask. I think I'm a little late in asking that because I think people have already started to leave. But anyways, yeah, we'll leave it at that. But thank you again.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Appreciate you all.
Thanks,
See ya.
Dr. Widener.
Thank you.
Bye.